Let me talk to you. So, I was going through my TNA DVDs, thinking to myself, which DVD of TNA should I review for you guys next? And I had this tingling in my loins to grab this off the shelf. TNA One Night Only's Night of the Dummies custom DVD put together by my good friend Chad Stone over at WVM Wrestling Video Media a few years back for myself, for my collection. I wanted to fill up all the one night only gaps I had in my collection throughout 2018 and 2019. And Chad kindly helped me, and this was one of the ones I picked up. So yeah, this is the one that was held at American Legion Post 80 in Birminghamton, New York. I hope I've said that right, guys. Apologies if I didn't. So this was taped August 25th, 2018 and aired September 14th, 2018. So let's take a look at the cover artwork and then I'll go over all the matches and give my opinions of it all. So yeah, we got the TNA logo and the One Night Only logo at the top there. And Night of the Dummies. And we have Eli Drake in the center there, surrounded by dummies here, dummies there, dummies everywhere. And is that Ricky Starks? No, that's KM. I'm only kidding, guys. Yeah, I love the way that Chad has put the artwork design of this together. He's done a very fantastic job. Here's the spine, the disc, and the back of the cover artwork. We've got the WVM logo there and various other details at the bottom. DVD video. A nice screenshot of the poster artwork used for Night of the Dummies, Impact, and Excite Wrestling, I do believe it was. Both working together to present One Night Only with your host, Eli Drake. So, unfortunately, this had very low production value, and the venue, which I said earlier was, where was it again? American Legion Post 80. No disrespect to the venue, but it was just, it felt like a really, really small hall, and the attendance was something like 150 to 200 people. It was really small, and you know, for what it was, though, I think TNA did a good job. The sound quality was, you know, it was very hard to pick up, especially like the entrance music for each of the wrestlers. That had nothing to do with this DVD. It was just the production value overall. The picture quality was very good, though. And was the event itself any good? Well, let's talk about each of the matches then. So we kicked things off with, well, some of these wrestlers I didn't even know going into this. I've got to be fair with you. This is some of them are sometimes first time I've seen them in action. So with the opening contest between Jay Freddy and Isis Effects, I think I've said his name correctly. Jay Freddy seemed to be really over with the crowd. I've never heard of this guy before. No disrespect to you. No disrespect to Isis Effects either, because I've not heard of him either. But yeah, Isis Effects kind of reminded me of Lance Archer a little bit. Is it the Murder Mohawk, whatever his name is? Can't remember how his fucking nickname is now. It's been such a long time since I've seen him. But yeah, Lance Archer, that's who he reminded me of. Really tall look, the same kind of build, and then those kind of braids, dreads that he has. And yeah, Isis Effects, he seemed pretty dominant in this match. And but it, you know, Jay Freddy picked up the win, and it was pretty much over before it could even begin. I don't even know what else I could say about this one, really. It wasn't a great opener. Maybe it's because to be fair, I didn't really know any of the wrestlers. so it made it a little less interesting for me. But I tried to get behind each of the matches on this pay-per-view as much as I could. But yeah, Jay Freddy picks up the win, and the crowd really loved that. So yeah, well done, Jay Freddy. I give this opening contest a 2-star out of 5 rating. That's just my own personal opinion on each of these star ratings as well for each of these matches. And yeah, that was a 2 out of 5 stars. Next up, we had Fallah Bahh against Dick Justice. So, shit. Right, I've always liked Fallah Bahh. I found him interesting. He's kind of like Groot and Yokozuna had a little love child together. His vocabulary is like basically he just answers everything with bah, bah, bah. You know what I mean? And his questions are always bah, bah. And I gotta be honest, he does say no, no, no as well. So there's that. But yeah, that's as far as his vocabulary options go. And yeah, he's quite entertaining to watch. He's a comedy kind of wrestler, and he was up against a comedy wrestler as well, Richard Justice, who called himself Dick Justice. God, and this Dick Justice seems to think he was some sort of police officer or some shit. And I've seen him knocking around TNA before over the years, and he's just a complete idiot. I have no interest in him, and he just made himself look like a complete dick in this match. And I knew I wasn't going to be watching a Dave Meltzer 7-star fucking classic before the bell even rang. And dear God. Yeah, it was very slow to start with. They were just doing lots of comedy shit to each other, mocking each other, and you know, the bah, 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 the head slap thing with Fallah Bahh, and you know, the communication between the two, and it was stupid, and you know, just a bit of comedy, and you know, but it was entertaining for what it was. And as I said, I don't mind watching Fallah Bahh. I enjoyed watching him over the years. He's pretty cool, pretty entertaining, very good wrestler as well for a very large guy. Don't mean to be rude. Dick Justice is also a big guy, and the commentators kept giving him the nickname Super Cop, and I had to listen very carefully because it sounded like they said Super Cock. My apologies for that, guys. The Booker T in me was kind of turned on in my head, thinking, "Tell me he didn't just say that." You know what I mean? And yeah, it was very, very confusing. And but I did find out they were saying Super Cop, not Super Cock. But it did come across as that, and you know, if you put Dick and Cock together, you know, why am I even talking about this? I'm talking about this match anyway. Yeah, comedy match. It got even more stupid towards the end, where Dick Justice reached into his fanny pack and pulled out a fake gun in the form of his fingers, like this, and threatened Fallah Bahh to get down on his knees and put his hands behind his head, which he did. And to me, I was just cringing. I was like, no, make this stop. Make this suffering stop. What have I let myself in for watching this fucking pay-per-view? And I think Eli Drake did choose some dummies, yeah, for this pay-per-view. He said he put together a lot of interesting wrestlers that he found over the world, you know, throughout the world, for this one night only pay-per-view. And yeah, these two were certainly dummies, especially Dick Justice. And even bigger dummy was Fallah Bahh for fucking listening to him to get on his hands. To get on his knees and put his hands on his head, thinking he was being threatened with a real gun. Which eventually, thank God, Dick Justice put back into his fanny pack. But anyway, I managed to get through the match, and Fallah Bahh picking up the victory with the middle rope kind of Yokozuna splash onto his opponent, Dick Justice. I give this one, I give this a 1.5 star out of 5. There was some entertainment value there for me, but most of it was just over the top, cringe as fuck. Throughout the evening, we had backstage segments, pre-taped, I do believe, with Eli Drake mainly involved with each of them, and we had it range from him interviewing fans in the parking lot or car park or whatever you want to call it, to Eli Drake playing on the piano and singing and giving his opinions about certain matches and what his top 3 moments were throughout the evening. Also, him and Jimmy Jacobs had a very funny interaction in an interview or segment backstage, and which led to Eli Drake saying that he's going to do a fact of life segment in the ring later that evening, which he did, which I'll talk about now quickly because I'll get back to the matches. Basically, there was no dummy button set up, no fact of life stand, what he usually does for these segments. So no dummy, yeah, button. But instead, he used his phone, which he linked to the microphone in ring, but we could hardly hear it. Every time the dummy button got pressed, or what was supposed to be the dummy button, it wasn't a proper dummy button, as I said. The microphone just could barely pick it up, and that kind of let the segment down a little bit. And yeah, it didn't end up being a good segment after all. And I usually enjoy watching Fact of Life. Always entertaining, sometimes very funny, but this one was very disappointment. A big disappointment, and I was very disappointed in it. Yeah, let's get back to the matches anyway. So, Axel Lennox against Slick Wagner Brown. Very one-sided match. Again, I wasn't familiar with any of these two wrestlers. Slick Wagner Brown picking up the victory, and all I can say about him is he was the more dominant of the two wrestlers, even though the fans seem to get behind Axel Lennox a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a lot else I can say about that one, guys. Sorry. Again, I think it's because it's two wrestlers I don't really have a lot of knowledge of going into this pay-per-view. Excite Wrestling, I think the other promotion that was working with TNA on this night, or Impact Wrestling. So they're obviously wrestlers from that organization, which I don't follow usually. But yeah, I give that one a 2-star out of 5 rating. Next up, we have what I consider match of the night, match of the evening. So we had Rebel take on Alicia, and wow, I just couldn't take my eyes off of Rebel and Alicia as well in this match, especially Rebel though. I loved Rebel back in her menagerie days, and the things that woman can do with her legs, wow, just leaves stuff to your imagination. Do you know what I mean, guys? But throughout the match, she was just there twerking away. I was just checking out that nice ass, and wow. Anyway, the match, I was distracted from the match. Okay, this keeps happening a lot with these wrestling pay-per-views. And yeah, this one in particular, though, I like both knockouts in this match. You've got Rebel, who's absolutely gorgeous, and you've got Alicia, who's really tiny and adorable. And I didn't know who I wanted to win, but Rebel pretty much dominated this match, and Alicia fought back hard. It's like a David versus Goliath kind of matchup. And shockingly, Alicia picked up the victory. And I was pretty gutted for Rebel, but in true sportsmanship after the match, they both shook hands, and I was kind of hoping they'd get it on, you know what I mean? Stop, buddy, for fuck's sake. I'm only kidding, guys. I'm only kidding. But honestly, it was a good match. And where I was entertained throughout, not only with the twerking and certain leg movements from Rebel and Alicia diving all over the place. it was quite a good match for what it was. And like I said, it was definitely my match of the evening in comparison to the other fucking matches on this event card, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, B-show, pay-per-view. Yeah, Rebel versus Alicia got a 3.5 star out of 5 rating from me, sorry. And all I kept thinking about afterwards is, oh, I wish both Rebel and Alicia would get aboard my gravy train. Wow. Moving on. Team Tremendous taking on the Heavenly Bodies. And when I read the back of this match card on the back of this, while the pay-per-view was going on, I was thinking to myself, it can't be the Heavenly Bodies from Smoky Mountain Wrestling stroke WWF from the early 1990s, because God rest his soul, Jimmy Del Rey, I do believe, is dead, one half of the Heavenly Bodies. And it would just be Tom Pritchard with somebody else. But it wasn't. It was two other dudes. Can't remember their names. I didn't write them down in my notes either, so apologies for that. But yeah, apparently Tom Pritchard gave them both the blessing to use the Heavenly Bodies name. And Team Tremendous, I've seen both of those guys before. Again, these guys were pretending to be police detectives or some shit. So along with Dirty Dick Justice earlier, old Supercock, we had two more cops here, or cocks even, wrestling as Team Tremendous. And yeah, I've seen those guys wrestle for, I think it was NEW, for the Prison Break Blu-ray I reviewed a couple of years back. I'm pretty sure it was that event. Or if not, it was that Joey Ryan's penis party event. Which I watched, but I didn't review. I didn't want to. I chose not to. And I'm pretty sure they were on one of those. Anyway, both put on a good match, very competitive, and Team Tremendous picking up the victory. Very good tag match, must be honest with you. And that one I gave a 3 out of 5 star rating to, or 4 for the match. Moving on again, we have Homicide versus Santana in a street fight. Homicide spent most of the early match pissing around in the crowd, hugging fans and like asking them to help him, and because poor Homicide was getting pulverized by Santana, and he just didn't want to get back in the ring. He just didn't want to get back into the fight, which is a bit unlike Homicide. The Homicide I've seen before over the TNA years, and from some of the matches I've seen him in Ring of Honor. But for a street fight, it was meh, I guess. 3 stars out of 5 for that one. Santana picking up the victory there. We had Sean Carr against Brute Von Slick. Again, I wasn't familiar with any of these two wrestlers. Brute Van Slick, beg your pardon. And Brute Van Slick, he kind of reminded me of Brody King a little bit. Kind of the same kind of look, but less tattoos. Same build as well. Not a lot I can really report about this match. It was kind of boring, I've got to admit, guys. And I just couldn't get behind backing any of these wrestlers to win. But again, because I wasn't familiar with any of them, which is a shame. You know, when you see a wrestler for the first time, and sometimes it can click straight away that you can, get behind them, or you think, yeah, they're pretty cool, I want them to win. I just couldn't do that with this match. It was just pretty dead. So sadly, I have to give this one a 1.5 out of 5 stars. Sorry, guys, and sorry to Sean Carr and Brute Van Slick. Then we went on to the semi-main event next as KM took on Moose. And we had a backstage segment with KM and Falaba. No. Yeah, you know where that conversation was going. Similar to what I was saying earlier. Just how, what's his name? Peter Quill, Star-Lord from the Marvel Universe, talks to Groot, or how Rocket Raccoon talks to Groot. That's the kind of thing that was going on with KM, trying to talk to Falaba. And getting the bah bah, response, or a bah as used for a question. And KM, to his credit, he could understand what he was saying in English. And that was, it was hilarious, but just dummy, yeah, you know what I mean? Dummy as fuck. And yeah, there was like some kind of conversation about a bet or something. I just couldn't obviously work it out, but KM was trying to fill in the blanks, and entertaining for what it was. But yeah, we went on to the match, KM versus Moose. It went on longer than it should have done, this one. Very one-sided in Moose's favour, as to be expected. And a funny spot in the match, Moose tricks the crowd into thinking that he's going to throw KM into the crowd, so he gets them all to move out their seats, and he throws KM into the ring instead, and turns back to the crowd that have kindly moved out their way. I got out their seats and moved out the way for him, from him, and he gives them a double bird. And yeah, and then he got rid of KM quickly. Not long after that. Sorry, not quickly. Like I said, the match did drag on for longer than it's supposed to have. I give it a 2.5 star out of 5 rating. Moose, obviously, as I said, picking up the victory. Then we had the main event itself. Eddie Edwards taking on Eli Drake, the host of the evening. Now, can the guy who has his own pay-per-view event pick up the victory here? Let's find out. So, as the match tried to start, well, let's put it this way, guys. The match itself was like 35 minutes long or something crazy like that. And the first 15 minutes of it, we had Eli Drake just keep stopping and starting and changing all the roles as he goes along. So the first thing he said, as he grabbed the microphone, was no kendo sticks allowed in this match. If Eddie Edwards uses that kendo stick, disqualify his ass. So that was a rule put into place. Then he got in the ring and they both get ready to lock up. And for some bizarre reason, Eddie Edwards decides to take it upon himself to slap Eli Drake's ass. I'm not making this up, guys. That actually happened. As well as everything else I've already told you on this pay-per-view. And Eli's reaction, his face, he just got straight out the ring, straight to that microphone again. And he put it bluntly to the referee, can you make sure if he slaps my ass again, you disqualify him, so no more ass slapping either. Anyway, get back into the ring, wrestle for a little bit, and Eddie Edwards takes Eli Drake down with an arm drag takedown. And Eli gets out of that, slides out the ring again, goes to the microphone and says, can you make sure if he does any more arm drag takedowns, you're disqualifying him? And the referee's got to start listing all these things, you know what I mean, in his mind, what could cause Eddie Edwards to get disqualified in this match. And as I said, this went on for a while, and then another thing was Eli Drake getting thrown out the ring, and then Eddie Edwards getting on the floor doing a snow angel. So obviously Eli Drake grabs that microphone again and says, if that dummy does another snow angel, you're disqualifying him. And this went on for a while with various other things as well. And it took for a while for the match to actually, pick up and get, really exciting. But yeah, that was an entertaining start, but it didn't need to go on for as long as it did. But the final 15 minutes or so was very cool. We had a very shit finish, though. We had a prosthetic leg given to Eddie Edwards from one of the fans to use on Eli Drake. Eddie Edwards then got him into the ring, and Eli went to get a chair and use it on Eddie Edwards, and the referee tried to take it off him and got hurt in the process, which Eddie Edwards took advantage of, grabbing Kenny, his kendo stick, and using it on Eli Drake. And then, just to pave way even to the victory for Eddie Edwards. And I was kind of disappointed because I was expecting Eli Drake to have picked up the victory considering it was his pay-per-view as well, but it wasn't supposed to be. Overall, this event, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, B pay-per-view, kind of entertaining with the pre-taped segments and some of the backstage interviews and stuff with some of the superstars, and you know, the exchange of words between KM and Fala bah was quite interesting, and I was, like I said, I was entertained by it. But the match quality, you know, I really wasn't happy with. Sorry, I didn't give a star rating for the Eddie Edwards versus Eli Drake match. That's a 3 out of 5 stars. Sorry, guys, I should have said that, shouldn't I, before I continued my my rant. But yeah, overall score for the pay-per-view, I'm going to have to give it a 4 out of 10. The main event was okay, but it was the Rebel and Alicia match and some of the comedy stuff that pretty much saved this. And apparently we were going to get a Night of the Dummies 2 the following year in 2019. It was heavily promoted by the commentators and Eli Drake himself throughout the pay-per-view, throughout the night. And obviously that wasn't to be, because Eli Drake was fired from the company in 2019 because he refused to take part in intergender match with Tessa Blanchard. I think it was a United We Stand one night only pay-per-view, it might have been. Or yeah, it was an event called United We Stand, I think. But yeah, so due to TNA firing him, which I thought was a stupid decision, they should have just suspended him without pay or just given him a fine for that instead. Because arguably at this time Eli Drake was their top draw, in my opinion. And imagine if they kept hold of him, you know, what a bigger star he could have developed into, and all the feuds he would have ended up having over the last 5 years or so, 6 years, sorry, instead of him going to WWE. But after a rough start in WWE, he's now LA Knight and super over with the crowd. And I hope his push to the world title continues at the ripe old age of 42. But yeah, well done Eli Drake, well done TNA. Unfortunately though, this one was very disappointing match quality wise, but I guess you guys could check it out and then give your own opinion on it. But yeah, I give it a 4 out of 10. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this video today, sorry I got a bit lost for words on some of the stuff I was trying to get across, some of the points and everything else. So if you did enjoy this today, feel free to slam that dummy yeah button, the like button, sorry guys, and comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll catch you again soon for another video. Thank you for watching this. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe and goodbye for now.